The man accused of killing MO3 just went on camera, and what he said has everybody talking. I know what I did. That came straight from Kuwan Dantrell White, the man accused of chasing MO3 down a Dallas freeway and killing him in broad daylight. But now he's flipping the story. The twist is wild, the timing hits hard, and what he just said might change everything about MO3's murder. Let's get into it.
People think you the person that killed MO3, man. They think you did it.
MO3's alleged killer just revealed shocking details. For the past few days, the streets have been buzzing about MO3's death and Yellowtapeboy's arrest for allegedly orchestrating the hit. Everyone's talking about that. But what most people don't know, or barely talk about, is the man accused of actually pulling the trigger, Kuwan Dantrell White. White was charged with MO3's killing first, but while awaiting trial, he was hit with a 9-year sentence for a federal gun case, and just when you'd think he'd stay quiet behind bars, he pops up in a jailhouse interview and makes a revelation that has everyone talking again.
These records would correspond to the exact amount which the state's witness would testify to. And he has houses in other states, correct?
I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware of him paying and helping to support other individuals in the family and also extended family and friends?
I'm not into his business like that.
You agree with me that your grandson is substantially well off, correct?
He might used to be, but if he could make a $2 million bond, he'd be out.
Would you agree with me, though, that there's a difference between can, want to, and choosing not to?
I'm aware of all of those things, but I know he don't want to be in here, so I know if he could afford it, he'd be out.
I know what I did. That line hit hard. He said it calmly, no hesitation, no second guessing. Then he made it clear he didn't do it. They got the wrong man. That's what I'm saying. I ain't doing the situation. Now people started wondering, was he framed? Was it a case of mistaken identity? But White didn't stop there. He doubled down. People think you the person that killed MO3, man. All right, they think you did it? He didn't hold back. He picked apart the entire case on camera. Then the internet did what it always does. One person dropped a comment that said it all. Imagine being this man's attorney, and he's doing interviews from his jail cell for a podcast. But let's not forget, this man didn't just land in prison by accident. The feds hit him hard. Kuwan Dantrell White was sentenced to 105 months in federal prison, just under 9 years. But that wasn't for MO3's murder. This was for having a gun as a convicted felon. The news came straight from U.S. Attorney Chad E. Meacham from the Northern District of Texas. White pleaded guilty back in May to carrying a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, and this wasn't some setup. Cops found the gun in his pants pocket. Here's how it went down. On August 16th, 2020, officers spotted White riding a dirt bike down West Pleasant Run Road in Lancaster, Texas. He broke a traffic rule, so they flipped on the lights, sirens on, told him to stop. But White didn't stop. He hit the gas, took off. Cops chased him down. He crashed the dirt bike and made a run for it. They caught him not long after, and that's when they found the gun. Now White is serving that sentence while the murder charge for MO3's death is still pending.
You are to have no contact, direct or indirect, no threatening or harassment of any victim, witness, co-defendant. If it's you or anybody on your behalf, there's going to be a problem. Do you understand that?
On one side, Kuwan White was talking from a jail cell, swearing up and down he didn't kill MO3. On the other, Yellowtapeboy, dead silent. Let's rewind. Bezy, real name Maurice DeAndre Conway, was arrested on March 20th, 2025. Surveillance shows him cuffed, walking like he's done this before. No blinking, no emotion, calm as ever, while police escorted him through the station. When that footage hit the internet, it went crazy. While everyone waited for Bezy to speak, his lawyer, Toby Shook, fed TMZ a line that felt like PR on autopilot. After he secured bond, he feels relieved to be released. That was it. No word about MO3, no denial, just relieved. But here's what really got people talking. Bezy wasn't just some guy with an open case. He was indicted by a Dallas County grand jury on March 18th, just 2 days before the arrest. The charge? capital murder while remuneration. That's the legal way of saying the state believes Bezy paid to have MO3 killed. Not a fight, not a spur-of-the-moment incident, a planned hit. Then came the bond hearing. The state set his bond at $2 million, heavy. His team said he couldn't afford it. That's when his family stepped in. His grandmother, Alma Jean Alexander, took the mic, and she came ready.
I gotta stay out the way.
Okay.
Shit, real out here, shit. You get hit up every day out here, like. It's the world. I ain't got no rap beef with nobody. I ain't got no rap beef with no rapper in my city. And no rap beef. And they was just, all that was just something that they heard, you know, shit. You know, they not in the streets, so, you know, their job is to report, like, the news. So, you know, they just going off what they heard, and, you know, so, like, nah, I just cleared it up on my interview when I went up there and talked to them. Like, nah, ain't no rap beef, ain't no problem, man.
That line made people pause. It also made the court pay attention, but the prosecutors didn't buy the broke angle. They came with receipts, literally. They pulled up Bezy's bank records from 2020. The man had close to $870,000 across accounts. They said he drove a bulletproof Denali. Then they pointed to one specific number, a $40,000 withdrawal made just days after MO3's murder. These records would correspond to the exact amount which the state's witness would testify to. That was from prosecutor Tommy Adams. He told the court a witness would swear Bezy helped pay for the murder, that the $40,000 wasn't random, that it was part of the setup. Bezy's defense clapped back quick. They said the state had nothing solid, no text messages, no Instagram DMs, no bank slips showing a handoff, just one person saying they heard something. You've heard no information of a text message, any communication on a social media platform that our client paid for this murder, any kind of remuneration, just this individual who stepped forward and stated he overheard this conversation. The defense said, even with all that back and forth, the judge made a move that shocked everyone. Judge Gracie Lewis dropped Bezy's bond to $750,000, but she didn't do it quietly. She called Bezy out on how he filled out his financial form, said he didn't take it seriously. The financial report that the defendant was required to file, he didn't seem to take that very seriously at all. And that's what I'm worried about, whether or not he's taking seriously the charges against him, Judge Lewis said. Then she gave a direct warning, no threats, no games, no funny stuff. But you are to have no contact, direct or indirect, no threatening or harassment of any victim, witness, co-defendant. If it's you or anybody on your behalf, there's going to be a problem. Do you understand that? So yes, Bezy walked out on bond, but that courtroom moment wasn't about freedom, it was a warning shot, a loud one. Online, people started breaking it down fast. He a rapper, so $40K could be for anything. The whole case appears to be based off the snitch, which may or may not be shooter. And then came the comments about the bond itself. From 2M to $750K in a week or so is pretty impressive. He might beat this case. People weren't shocked he got out, they were impressed by how fast it happened. This man is not worried at all, and he's far from broke. He's from the cliff for real, because if you got a bulletproof ride, six-figure accounts, and $140K to pull at any moment, saying you can't post bond feels a little fake. He better get out of the country then. Then came the side-by-side takes. And Tory couldn't get a bond for a case that didn't involve someone dying. Wild. He get a bond, but did he doesn't? Ain't asterisk. People weren't just watching, they were comparing. Some saw it as a privilege, others saw it as power. Then came a key detail from the court that got less attention but meant everything. The judge said in the courtroom that one reason she lowered the bond is lack of evidence so far. She warned Bezy not to try to intimidate people associated with the case. That was it, that's the part people skipped. The judge basically said, the state doesn't have a full case yet, no real paper trail, no digital evidence, just a shaky story and one witness. That's why Bezy walked. And then came the tweet that made everyone stop scrolling. Big U paid it for him. It might have been a joke, but it stuck. Because Big U's name always stirs things up. He's helped rappers before, not just with music, but with legal stuff too. He knows people. He's moved behind the scenes for years. If Bezy needed someone to step in quietly and post $750,000, Big U would be on that short list. He respects street loyalty, and Bezy is from Oak Cliff. If there's silence protecting bigger names, that bond money might be more than just money. It could be about keeping mouths shut. So now Bezy's out, not saying much, just like before. But MO3 is gone, shot on a freeway, middle of traffic. And while Bezy walked out of court, MO3 never walked out of that chase. The murder of MO3 and their beef, that bond drop was already shaking things up. But then, just hours later, College Kid dropped something that completely flipped the mood. It wasn't breaking news, it wasn't a court update. It was old studio footage, MO3 and Yellowtapeboy shoulder to shoulder, no threats, no tension, just two Dallas rappers chilling, recording, laughing like they never had problems at all. That short clip made everything more confusing, because if you only saw that clip, you'd think they were cool, maybe not best friends, but at least on the same page. No beef, no drama. Then came the freeway footage. MO3 on I-35, his car stopped in traffic. He jumps out, runs through the lanes like he's dodging something deadly. A man follows him holding a gun. Seconds later, it's over. MO3 gets hit, killed right there, middle of the highway, bright daylight. People online still can't agree on why he stopped the car. Some said he heard shots, some said the tire got hit. Then one post pulled it all together. They said dude was already shooting at him and the killers had multiple cars on the highway that day. Somebody even said they shot MO3's tire out. That didn't sound random, it sounded like a setup, like someone planned it, right down to the crash. Then came the data, the kind that doesn't lie. Phone records showed Bezy and Kuwan White were in contact non-stop the day before MO3 was killed, the day of repeated calls. Cell tower pings dropped them near where MO3 stayed that night, then again near the spot where he was gunned down. Prosecutors didn't hesitate, they said it clear. This wasn't just beef, this was a hit. They think Bezy called the shots, put up the money, made the plan. The phone calls, the cash, the location hits, it was all pointing one way, but just when people thought they had it figured out, the story shifted again. This time, it was about a woman. The Shade Room posted that MO3 had just left a woman's house that morning. He knew something was wrong, felt like he was being watched, so he left, pulled into a gas station to see if the car behind him would back off. It didn't. Same car, same pressure. MO3 got back on I-35 and tried to shake it. That's when it all went down. The chase, the crash, the final run. TMZ dropped more. According to @TMZ_TV, MO3 was desperately trying to get away from his alleged killers moments before he was fatally shot on a Dallas freeway. Then came the part that made everyone stop scrolling. After the crash, MO3 reportedly got out of his car and ran for his life before he was tragically shot in the back of the head. Police never confirmed the name of the woman MO3 visited, but fans didn't need confirmation. They had their theories. Most of them swore she had ties to Bezy's people. Nobody proved it, but nobody denied it either. That silence gave people space to start connecting the dots themselves. Then Bezy finally said something. He sat down with the lamp channel and kept it short. He looked calm, cold even. He wasn't ranting, he wasn't yelling, just speaking with a straight face. Certain needs to be addressed, certain don't. He said, stop attaching me to all that because it ain't got nothing to do with me. He said it like he'd been waiting to drop that line. But that one clip didn't stop the rumors. If anything, it made people dig even more. Especially now that Bezy was in jail. His face was all over the blogs and the same question kept showing up again and again. How did this all really start? Because this wasn't overnight, it wasn't just one fight or one diss track. This had been building. MO3 and Bezy were both from Oak Cliff, same part of Dallas. And over there, if you rep Oak Cliff, it means something. You're either respected or you're tested, there's no middle ground. In 2017, things really started to heat up. Comedian Roy Lee, who was tight with MO3, started taking shots at Bezy. He didn't hide it. He questioned Bezy's street ties, questioned if he really repped Oak Cliff like he claimed. Roy picked a side and it wasn't Bezy's, that turned everything personal. Then the shots came. On September 25th, 2018, Roy Lee was shot in a parking lot in North Dallas. He didn't die right away. He held on for a few weeks, but on October 13th, he passed. Doctors blamed a blood clot from the gunshot wound. Then, the very next day, October 14th, Bezy got shot. A drive-by, 8 bullets. It happened in Louisville. He lived, but let's be real, it didn't feel like random timing. MO3 didn't wait long to clap back, not with guns, with music. In 2019, he dropped straight-up diss tracks. No coded bars, no soft jabs, just shots. On his track 219, which dropped on Roy Lee's birthday, MO3 pointed the finger. He blamed Bezy for Roy Lee's death. Twitter caught it quick. One tweet laid it out clean. The MO3 and Yellow B feud turned deadly after B ducked a fade from Mo3's friend Roy Lee. Lee was later killed, which set off a chain of incidents in the city. Even Reddit started adding to the puzzle. One user posted, "Yeah, I get that MO3's head started getting big and he was talking a lot of __ on social media. Just didn't know if it was 100% that got him killed." This wasn't just rap beef, this was pride, this was ego, this was real life stuff with names and blood behind it. Once it started rolling, nobody stopped it. Fast forward to 2024, Bezy shows up on Can I Vent? Finally, someone asked him the one thing everyone wanted to know. Why couldn't you ever acknowledge 3 before or after his death? I'm never like, what was the point? Bezy gave a shrug. But then he went further. He said MO3 was jealous, said MO3 was bitter about his success. That line hit hard. It made the beef feel different. This wasn't about music anymore. This felt personal. It sounded like there was real hate sitting underneath all those songs and interviews, and just when people thought he was being honest, Bezy flipped the script, different interview, a whole different tone. He got asked if he and MO3 ever had a real issue. This time he said, "We ain't never had no problem." "You never had no problem? Okay." Just like that, he switched it. First MO3 was bitter, now there was no beef. One minute it's real tension, next minute it's all good, and it didn't stop flipping there. Right when people thought Bezy would stay cold and distant, he did something nobody saw coming. He actually appreciated MO3. That was a big impact for him, like, the whole city. A rare moment. Probably the only time Bezy ever said something good about MO3 in public. No shade, no slick shots, just facts. But MO3 had his own moments on tape too. Right after Bezy got hit in 2018, shot 3 times while driving, people wanted to know what MO3 thought. His answer? Not sugarcoated at all. "I gotta stay out the way. Okay, it's real out here. __, getting hit up every day out here. Like, it's the world. No fake love, no fake concern, just that raw, unfiltered MO3 energy, and he meant it. He didn't blink." Then came a different kind of clip. MO3 sat down and finally spoke on the rumors, the blogs, the drama. He said none of it was real, that the whole beef idea came from people who weren't even in the streets. "I ain't got no rap beef for nobody. I ain't got no rap beef for no rapper in my city. I'm rap beef." And they was just, all that was just something that they heard, you know, they not in the street, so, their job is to report like the news. So, they just going off what they heard, So like, no, I just cleared it up on my interview when I went up there and talked to them like, ain't no rap beef, ain't no problem, man. But the music, that told a different story. All those diss tracks, all the sneak shots, the lawsuits, the Instagram posts, the side comments and interviews. If that wasn't beef, it was something close. And while everyone online kept arguing over who hated who and who said what first, Bezy had his own thing going. His rap sheet was growing, one charge after another, stacking arrests like mixtapes. Yellowtapeboy's previous legal issues, and that pattern just kept going. Bezy wasn't just making headlines for music anymore, he was popping up for everything else. Back on February 14th, 2021, he got arrested in Dallas. The charge? Unlawful possession of a firearm. It didn't take long, he was out the same day, but it was the first clear sign that trouble wasn't letting go of him. Then came August 11th, 2021. Another arrest. This time it was drug and weapon charges. No one said what kind of drug, no one said what kind of weapon, but just the fact that it happened again was enough to keep people talking. Bezy's name was starting to feel sticky. But the big one, that hit in November. On November 5th, 2021, Bezy got picked up in Plano, Texas. That time it hit the blogs fast. The charge was sexual assault and another weapons charge on top of it. This wasn't just news, it was everywhere. His name ran through headlines, tweets, and Instagram pages for weeks. Now, the truth, that charge didn't hold. It got tossed in June 2022. No conviction, but this is the internet. People rarely remember when charges get dropped. They only remember the mugshot. Then he popped back up again in July 2024. Different kind of drama. Not jail this time, court. His name was in a lawsuit tied to Chris Brown. 4 men filed it in Harris County, said they were invited to a VIP event at Chris Brown's show at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, said things went sideways, claimed they got jumped by Brown's crew, and guess who they said was part of it? Yellowtapeboy. Bezy's lawyer fired back quick, told the Shade Room. Yellowtapeboy was not involved in any incident, did not have any contact with the plaintiffs, and does not understand why he is named party in the lawsuit or the temporary restraining order that was clearly filed before all facts were obtained and verified. Still, it added one more thing to the list. Guns, assaults, now murder. One case gets dropped, another shows up. At some point, people stop saying it's bad luck. They start saying it's who you are. But to really understand how Bezy got here, you have to go back, way back. Before the songs, before the fame, before court dates, before he had the chains and the buzz, he was just Maris Conway, a regular kid from Oak Cliff trying to figure it out. Life didn't deal him the best hand. When he was only 12, his dad got murdered, shot, and killed at home on Mother's Day. That kind of moment doesn't leave you. It builds something inside you that never really goes away. As a kid, Conway was into sports, football, basketball. He had dreams, maybe make it big, maybe go pro. But dreams don't always get a chance to grow when life around you gets hard. During his teen years, those dreams took a back seat. He joined the Crips, started dealing, not to look cool, not to make a name. It was survival. He needed money. He needed a way to eat. It wasn't a rap story. It was just real life. So when you look at everything that followed, the arrests, the charges, the street ties, it didn't come out of thin air. It followed a pattern, a blueprint we've seen before, especially in places like Oak Cliff, where gang life doesn't just disappear once you get a hit single, you carry it with you. And Bezy wasn't the first to live in that cycle. He repped _ loud, never hit it. And he's not alone in that lane. Snoop Dogg wore the blue flag. Nipsey Hussle breathed it. Blueface still flexes it online. Quando Rondo? He lived it and got caught in it. Some used it to boost their name. Some got stuck in it for good. Look at Chef G. He had drill music blowing up in Brooklyn. But behind the scenes, prosecutors said he was funding gang hits, celebrating shootings. They hit him with a 140-count indictment. He had songs on the charts and still ended up in jail. Same with Quando Rondo. He had fans, he had a tour. But instead of performing, he's serving 33 months in federal prison, drugs, weapons, and long file tying him to rolling 60s gang activity. And that came after ducking headlines about shootings and bodies that followed him everywhere. Then there's Big U, not a rapper, but a big name in LA, known leader in the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips for years. He ran youth programs, spoke at schools, said he was helping the community, but then came the RICO case. The feds said he wasn't just guiding kids, he was running the whole show, extortion, fraud, even murder. They said it looked more like the mafia than a mentorship group. So when Yellowtapeboy's name got tied to a capital murder charge, people didn't act shocked. It followed the same story. Start with pain. Fight to get out, get famous, try to leave the streets. But the streets don't always let go. Sometimes the past follows closely, real close. That's why his legal history doesn't look like a random mess. It tells a story. The gun charge in 2021, the drug bust, the sexual assault case that made headlines but was later got dismissed. Then that lawsuit in 2024 where 4 men said Bezy helped jump them backstage at a Chris Brown show. Even if the courts clear him, every case leaves a mark. And together, they build the picture people see. That's the cycle for a lot of affiliated rappers. It ends the same way. Some made millions, some gave back, some really tried to move on. But the streets remember, people around you don't always grow with you. And the law, it's always watching. So when news broke that Yellowtapeboy was facing life over a murder for hire charge, most people didn't ask, how did this happen? They asked, who's next? Because in this game, the fall is always closer than it looks. But now, with White's new interview stirring the pot, the real question is, could this change everything for Bezy? Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, check out the suggested content on your screen by clicking one of the cards displayed.